Well, welcome everyone. I'm Professor David Loertscher from San Jose State University School of Information. And today we're just delighted to have invited Jessie Storrs, librarian in Sacramento, California, to be with us. And Jessie, welcome, and introduce yourself and the kind of school that you're working in, because it's quite unique.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you guys out there for listening. This is such an important initiative. My name is Miss Stories. I go by Miss Stories. My real name is Jessie Storrs. It's been Miss Stories since I became a librarian 6 years ago. I am I work at El Centro Junior and Senior High School here, located inside the youth detention facility. We are Sacramento Juvenile Hall. So I do work for Sacramento County Department of Education as a court and community schools teacher. I am a teacher librarian, MLIS. So I am a certificated teacher and librarian. And I build a California Model School Standard-based program here within Sacramento Juvenile Hall.
Right. Well, tell me about, let's explore this just a little bit more. So it's young adults that are kind of been in trouble and serving detention, and they might stay what for different periods of time. Tell us about just in general terms.
So my students and residents are here for various reasons. They are justice involved youth who are serving their time here inside this facility. They live here, they go to school here, they do their programs here. I am one of those programs, fortunate for me. My students range from minimum about age 10 to 23, in which case, depending on their sentencing, they may move on to an adult facility, or they may be released and explore life outside the hall once more.
So this is a unique population, and so how on earth do you attract these youngsters, these teenagers to your facility there? What's your secret?
So my whole goal is to build a third space for these young people. And the reason is because this is a very it's a very gray facility. It's clean, it's tidy, it's great, but it definitely lacks some color, some comforts of home. So I've built a third space here among the books where we have nice lighting, nice smells, soft music, a cafe atmosphere, so that when they can come into the library proper, they're transported a little bit out of their situations. My goal is to make books as visible as possible and to really listen to them about what they want to read, and within my power, make those books as available as I can.
So how often do they get to come and visit you, or is it free flow or no?
We have
What's going on?
We have a fixed schedule. This is the first library I've ever worked at that had a fixed schedule where it was mandatory to come to library. As a high school, because it is a school program, the high school students must come once a week. And it is really fantastic because I get to see my reason for being here, the kids, the young people, once a week. And I get to talk to them. I get to see how they're doing. I get to ask them what they're reading and give them new books. So it's nice to have those emotional check-ins, relationship building at least once a week.
Wow. Okay. So that's, as long as we're talking about reading, do these kids read at all? Are they interested in reading? What's going on?
They are so interested in reading. I've been a librarian for a while, and this is the most reading that I have seen from this age group. And it is a wide variety of books. They did recently get tablets here to use secure tablets. So I know that they are watching more movies and listening to more music. But my book checkouts have not faltered. The students, I have someone who loves Philippa Gregory books. And so I have to find him every Philippa Gregory book I can. And I have young people who have read through the entire science fiction section and just need more. And I have someone who will only read Afrofuturism. And so I have to get the best of our sci-fi with people of color as the protagonist. And it's definitely a challenge making sure they get everything they need. We have a good funding here, but I would be lying if I said I didn't buy books off the cuff for them.
Oh, so can you also draw from Sacramento Public or interlibrary loan or?
So I don't check out books from the library to give to them simply because we do have safety and security concerns. We can't have hardbacks inside their rooms. Many people would call them cells, but we call them rooms. So I do have to cut the covers off of books in order for them to be read, but one of the rules of library science is books are made to be read. So to make them available, I do cut the covers off of them. And so I try to avoid lending them books from the library. However, our Sacramento Public Library is one of our biggest donors. Sacramento Friends of the Library is the reason why we have such a comprehensive and contemporary collection for young adults.
Wow. So they do most of their reading in the library then, right?
I would say they do most of their library in their rooms. They will check out. Here's an example I do have of one of our books. This is a poetry book called Beholding. They're cataloged for the library and then barcoded with our personal barcode for Follett, and then they would take these back and read them. And they read because, you know, sometimes it can be hard to sleep here. They're sharing a space. It's not entirely private, so they do escape into books.
Well, that's wonderful. So you get you're pretty happy with the ability to push reading at this group.
It's truly magical.
That's wonderful. Let's talk about also how do you reach out to teachers in collaborative ways, you know, in what they're studying, and how does the library support the teachers and what they are trying to do in the classroom?
I feel extremely fortunate here at my site, and in fact at my last site, at my last high school, where the teachers were always very receptive to the materials that I was presenting. I work collaboratively with teachers pretty much nonstop. In fact, it does interfere with my actual collections management, with cataloging and processing books. I wish there was another person because I definitely do more teaching than cataloging, which is sad. I love cataloging. But I go into teachers' classrooms. We make time each week. If it were up to the teachers, I would probably be in there all the time. I teach lessons on financial literacy is my big one. I teach lessons and virtual field trips. My kids have gone down to the Titanic. My kids have been to Auschwitz. My kids, I'm currently working on a Chernobyl exhibition because they really do love the natural and other disasters. Really gets them excited. And then I have been recently teaching in collaboration with one of my teachers here who was doing investigative reporting and podcasts, teaching the game. It's called Hunt a Killer, where the students make inferences and use their informational literacy skills to solve a mystery, and then create a write-up about it.
Oh, that's fun.
It's fun.
So, so when administrators, I mean, this is a very unique school, but when administrators want the type of person like you that is really involved in the curriculum as well as reading and the traditional kinds of things, what's your recommendations to them?
I was actually an administrator reached out to me not long ago because I am involved in some juvenile justice facility county-wide planning and with social emotional work. And an administrator reached out to me asking where they should start with creating a library of this. And I first and foremost, this was not my library. This is an inherited library. And all of that wonderful credit should be given to our partners in probation because they have built a beautiful library. I have just taken it and run with it. But I told her that hiring a credentialed teacher librarian is absolutely imperative to having a strong library program because we do more than just checking out books. I check out books a lot during the day, but the other half of the day, I'm creating lesson plans. I'm on committees. I'm visiting the students to make sure that their social emotional needs are met. It's important to have someone who has been through a program and understands the different hats that a teacher librarian or a credentialed certificated librarian wears.
Right. Well, that's that is an important thing, particularly in California and in most many schools that don't have a credentialed person. But it's unique when it's in a facility that's really working with what the general public would think the tough kids, you know. But you've managed to. I want to just pursue that a little more. How do you approach these young people who may have a troubled past, yet you're working on opportunity for them? And tell us just a little bit more. How do you approach this kind of young adult?
I think that it's, and this is a very emotional answer to that question. I think that the first thing that I tell new teachers in facilities and the first thing that I feel here is I do love these students. There is a genuine affection that I have for each and every student who passes through here. It is a very empathetic job. It is an intake of lives and an exhale of working with those lives and practicing separation from what they might have done or where they came from, and learning to get to know them as who they are as people and who they are as children, because they at the end of the day, many of them are still children. I love getting to know my kids on what they're reading through just them talking, through them writing. We do a lot of poetry in here. So I learn a lot about them through their poetry and through their lyrics. I just transcribed 27 poems this week. And it was quite a big project for me because they don't have the ability to type them. So that was my job. And it was 27 raw voices of what they're feeling. It's a big emotional commitment, but it's one that fills my cup every day. And I think that that's what always has driven me as a teacher, is that feeling of, oh, my cup is full because I'm spending time with these kids.
Well, that's amazing. I think that's a real concern across all types of children, whether they're you know, what is the relationship between the librarian and all of the students, no matter what, you know, whether they're geniuses or struggling or whatever. So if you think about your bottom line, you know, that keeps you passionate about, well, what really keeps you going?
Social emotional learning and resilience and social justice. My pillar of intent at this library specifically is to work in collaboration with the community, in order to, so to speak, decolonize young adult bookshelves, and actively provide socially conscious, relevant, contemporary materials for them while prioritizing the voices of historically marginalized groups. And our children in here are often the people who have less of a voice. And I want them to see themselves represented on these shelves. And that means building shelves that are made for them. It means genrifying the library as opposed to keeping Dewey in here, because Dewey does not serve a good purpose at this specific library. It means having dynamic bookshelves so that they can browse with ease, and providing them with an ear. My ears are open. And that's my bottom line, is when they come in here, hi, I'm here. You are welcome to be here, and I'm happy to see you.
But I also, before we leave, I also understand you have a real digital presence with these young'uns. Tell us about your website, the library website.
That has been a particular challenge because in secure facilities, students are not allowed to have devices that are not locked down. So when I built this website, originally I started building it for the pandemic at my last site, and it was not getting used as much, but I still worked on it because it's important to build a digital space, third space. So here, I use these materials, I mediate between them. So everything I have is projected onto the screen, and the students are given the benefit of choice, and are able to lead the lesson. This afternoon, I'm doing an escape room with my English as a second language students. And that's going to be one of our listening and speaking exercises, but it's full digital. Everything I build for that website is made for anybody to use for free. I'm working on, if there's any sort of I'm working on making sure that all of the intellectual property that I have used is properly cited, and that everybody is given the credit they deserve for the work that they have done with images and things like that. It's a big job. It's a fun site. I really enjoy being on my website.
And can I look at your website? Can anybody look at your website?
Anybody can look at my website. It is available to everyone. I do not have the link in front of me right now, but I can send you that link, and you can hyperlink it. It is available to all. My Instagram is available to all. It kind of showcases a lot of what we do in here, including student book reviews. My juvie reviewees are one of my favorite things to do with the kids, because they come in and they tell me about books, and I want the world to know what kids are reading.
So, well, you're an absolute heroine, and dedicated to young people who really need an opportunity in their lives to grow and develop. And so I guess I'll say thank you and on their behalf, but also society's dedication to, number one, hiring you and trusting you, and developing, some things for youngsters that just don't have what we expect every child to have. So thank you so very much for your wonderful description of working with these children, and we just appreciate what you're doing, and we'll just say goodbye, but and 1,000 thank yous.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here, and thank you for letting me speak on the behalf of my students. They don't often get a voice and are not often visible. So I appreciate that. We all do.